All right, back again with another one, and this one is more along the lines of yeah, this one's more along the lines of just one of those ones that make you think. Um, as I said before, I said in previous videos that I'm not against single mothers, the people, but I'm against single motherhood. Um, I would like to see that stamped out or put away. It's really hurting America, but it's really hurting us in the black community. It's like the number one killer destroyer. You know what I mean? And so I'm really getting vocal about it these days because not to hurt anyone's feelings or make anybody feel bad, but just to tell the truth and discourage young girls from jumping into single motherhood as the Lyndon B. Johnson administration uh, skillfully orchestrated them to do. Uh, we're gonna now see. We now see from studies and just the general environment that's out there that single motherhood is a bad situation for the country and as well as in particular the black community in America. So I'm going to address some of the ills of that and just basically, just make a story time about this situation. Because as I ran into a situation the other day when I was on the train, excuse me, and it kind of bears out the situation with single motherhood and why you probably, if you're a woman under the age of 35, you don't want to run into single motherhood. Well, you don't want to run into single motherhood, period. But having children before you're mature and you're ready to financially deal with those children, it's just not smart for the children. But let me get into. I wanted this to be story time, so let me make this a story time. I don't want to lecture too much right here. I'm gonna just tell the story. So anyway, I'm running and I'm taking a train. I'm taking a train home from work. So get on a train and there's a girl and a guy sitting behind me. They probably were 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there, high schoolers. And when I first got on, I had to stand because there was no seats. So we hit one stop, and then a seat in front of the guy and the girl became available. So as I moved in to go and sit down in that seat, a whole another chick with a baby, all these people black by the way, another chick with a baby, um, from like maybe a couple seats up says, "Hey, I was gonna sit there," to me, and I kind of looked at her and I just said, "Well, I'm sitting here now." And so the girl behind me, not the new girl, but the girl behind me said, "Well, she was gonna sit there." And I said, "But she's already sitting down. The girl was already sitting in a seat with her." Oh, by the way, she was a single mom. She had her baby with her. She had her little girl with her. She already had a seat, but she was telling me, "Don't sit there," because she was gonna sit there. And I was like, "Nah, I'm sitting down. You wanna sit next to your friend? I'm all for that, but I'm sitting down." So uh, she got pissed at me, and she wasn't gonna come. So finally, her friend kind of begged her, "Come on, just come on. He ain't gonna do nothing." Yeah. So anyway, yeah, her friend was telling her, "Come on, come on, come on, just sit down. Sit down. He ain't gonna, not gonna bite you. You know what I mean? So I was like, whatever. So she came and sat down. So now it's me, this girl and her baby. The girl with the baby was probably around the same age as the other two, probably around, 16, 17, 18ish, around in there somewhere. Um, and had the baby with, had the little girl. The little girl looked like she was probably about 5 or 6 months old. So anyway, it's the four of us. Now, you ever been on public transportation with man, black people from the ghetto. Man, they get a little audience. They start showing out. So they're talking about their gang affiliations and what hood they like to go visit and whatnot, and just a bunch of Negro buffoonery, the common Negro buffoonery you will see in in a public setting with people who are self-esteem issues. So anyway, so there they are, yeah, I'm with because I'm from Hoover, and we go we getting in with the A trays and all this whatever, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm saying to him, I'm trying to read a book actually, and I'm sitting there trying to read this book, but I can't concentrate because they talking, but I understand. I was that stupid when I was their age, so I understand. I'm trying to be understanding. So this went on for about maybe 15 minutes of the Negro buffoonery conversation. So anyway, uh, so what ended up happening was the girl that was sitting next to the guy said to the girl that's sitting next to me, um, "Hey, where's J Bug?" I guess J Bug is the first baby's daddy. Oh, by the way, here's how I found out that's the first baby's daddy. So anyway, um, she goes, "Hey, where's J Bug?" She said, "Girl, J Bug is about to get out of jail." I'm changing names. I actually don't remember the names, but I'm just throwing names out there. So she said, "J Bug is about to get out of jail." So she said, "Are you gonna go back to him?" She goes, "No." Then her friend said, "Well, are you gonna go back to that baby's daddy?" She goes, "No." She goes, "Well, who what you doing?" She said, "No, no, no. I'm gonna be with the baby that's in my stomach's daddy." So the guy behind me, the young boy behind me was like, "What? You got another baby on the way?" And so she was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Yeah." She said, "This baby's daddy is in jail. My first baby's daddy is in jail. And this dude, he just a gangbanger. But I guess I just like them jailbirds." She said that out loud, right? She was kind of laughing, and her friend behind her was kind of laughing, right? So, uh, I'm just sitting there. I ain't laugh. I ain't do nothing. I really felt bad for the sister, man. Little sister, I really felt bad for her because I seen her perspective was way off, way off. But, um, it wasn't the right atmosphere for me to say anything to kind of help her or jolt her or anything. It was just not a good atmosphere. She was not going to be in a place where she was going to be able to hear it. Listen, let me tell you why. So anyway, that's how I found out who all these baby daddies is. So now I found out this she got 3 children. She ain't even 20 yet. She got 3 children already. so so that kind of conversation kind of went away, and they start talking about other different stuff. And then so the girl behind me would ask her, the guy that was with her, because I don't know if they was boyfriend or whatever. I think he was working on it. He was trying to get rid of the friend, but the friend was like the anchor that wouldn't let nothing happen. So anyway, he was hot at her. He was trying to get rid of her. So anyway, but so she asked him, Are you going to school tomorrow?" And so he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to school." And so then he was like, "You going to school too?" She was like, "No, I'm not." And so the girl sitting next to him was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not going to school because I got stuff to do." Right? And so the the dude, um, the guy said, "Hey man, the only thing you got to do is not be like her." Pointing to the girl sitting next to me, right? So I'm sitting there like, "Uh oh, man, you just did what you're not supposed to do, right?" Yeah, not supposed to point out a single mother and the tragedy therein, right? You just that's just like a public uh, faux pas. You're not supposed to do that, right? So anyway, he goes, "Long as you're not like her." And so the girl turns around and says, "What you mean not like me?" He said, "You got 3 children already. You ain't even graduated high school yet." So so Hey man, he said this to the girl. He was 100% right. He said you are done. He said that to her. He said you are done. He said you ain't got no you got three children by three different daddies, and you ain't even got a high school diploma. He said you are done. So the girl was like, "What?" Because it's just it's you can't call a woman out on well, especially a black woman. You can't call them out on stuff, man. I mean, that's just like you are just so insensitive when you call them out on the shit they actually did, right? I felt bad for her, man, because she was in such delusion, man. Now I'm gonna quote you what the girl said to him. When he said that, and she said, "What?" And he said, "Look at you. You got three, blah, blah, blah. You done." Her response to that was, "I'm doing good for myself." I kid you. That's a direct quote. She's sitting right next to me, so I can't get it wrong. She said, "I'm doing good for myself. I'm in continuation school." He said, "Continuation school? That's for people that's stupid." She said, "I'm not stupid. I'm smart." I'm telling you what the girl said, man. So I'm sitting here listening to this, and the guy's 100% right, but it just was the wrong form for him. Because I mean, I could tell that he was blowing out. He was going on, right? He was like, "Nah, man, you losing, you losing, you losing, And I'm gonna tell you this, because when she said, "I guess I just like jailbirds," ha 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 ha, he thought that she was had come to the realization that her life she's done as far as getting a good guy, a good man, a decent man to be in her life. She's done. He thought that she or a decent employment or something like that. He thought that she understood that, but she was making a joke. He didn't realize she was making a joke to kind of mask the fact that nobody's supposed to say that. So you ain't supposed to tell somebody in that situation, "Hey, you cooked your goose. Now, thanks for letting us pay for the people that you got coming out of your womb now. Thanks for letting us pay for that." So you ain't supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say that, because that's ill manner, right? That's out of pocket. That's out of line with the narrative. Which the narrative is, "Oh, this poor girl. This poor girl. She's got all these babies. Oh, this poor girl. She need help. We need to help her, help her, help her, help her, help her." And I get that, and I agree to an extent. To an extent. But I don't mean carry. I mean help. Give somebody some incentive with incentives to improve the standard of living. That's what I mean. But I'll get to that later. I don't because the welfare state as it has been set up, as it was set up by Lyndon Baines Johnson, it was not set up to help. It was set up to carry and then drop off young and make. It was set up to make criminals. Mass produce criminals. But I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. So anyway, so the girl goes, "I'm doing good for myself. Me and my mama watch my children, and I go to my mama watch my children while I go to school." Hey, no thought to, hey, the mama might have a life, right? Mama might have, but just her, and just like when she told me when I was trying to sit down in the seat, hey, I was gonna sit there, even though she was already sitting there. It's just the delusional sense of entitlement, the grandiose sense of entitlement. Just like, what? You already in a seat, but now you're gonna tell me that I'm because just because you feel like I'm not as important enough to sit down as you are with your baby that you got with the daddy that's in jail. I mean, it's just a delusional, and I don't say this to bash the single mothers. I say this to warn other young girls, anybody that might be involved, or either young men out there that might get involved with things that might involve get you caught up into some make you where you might create a single mother. Because let's don't get it twisted. Men create single mothers. Men. Because if you trust, I have my tubes tied, I'm on the pill, I did this, I got an IUD and all this stuff. You trust all that, that's on you. Because basically, you putting your life in that person's hands. That's what you're doing. You putting your life in that person's hand. They can tell you anything. Oh, I had a what's that thing when they take the whole that whole womb out? They take the womb out. Hysterectomy. I had a hysterectomy. I can't do nothing. I have no tubes. I have nothing. I had them tied. I have. They could tell you all kind of stuff. How do you know? Are you going to ask them for their personal documents? No, of course not. You're not going to do nothing like that. That might stop you from actually, having sex with her, right? 'Cause she might be so offended, you ain't gonna have sex with her. So you're not gonna ask her for nothing like that. You ain't gonna ask her to prove nothing. You just gonna say, "Oh, okay, well, it's on." Then when she turned up pregnant, how many guys out there right now, man, are fathers, and just because they trusted some girl saying to them, I'm protecting myself." You don't need to do that. You don't need to wear a condom. I'm protecting myself. You're protected. I've done this, took this course of action to make sure you won't get pregnant. And how many guys are sitting right now and paying child support on a child they probably don't get a chance to see, to live in another state from them, whatever. Or get that letter, you owe us $21,000. You got a 10-year old child, right? Across the country somewhere. Anyway, let me get back to the story time. So anyway, the young brother, man, he's just going off. He's telling her, man, you are an idiot. You go to continuation school, that's for dummies. And so you should have thought about that, your life, before you hooked up with them dudes that's all up in jail. So she was like, oh my God. But she didn't say that. She, she was like, so, and this was another thing, and I felt sorry. Man, I felt sorry for him, because I know I could see that there's nobody there to teach. Who there is no who would tell you you're doing good for yourself. You have three children, and you're not even 20 years old, and you have no high school diploma, and you have no income except what people like me and other people that's working gonna pay taxes so um, that you can get the assistance that you need. And I don't mind giving you assistance. What I mind is the setup that is being given assistance under. That setup is to cause us to have a class of criminals, black people, because we know they go out and not only commit criminal activity in the black community but also in other communities too, but not as much as the black community. I think 90% of the criminal behavior from black people happens to other black people, at least 90%, maybe possibly more. But anyway, um, so yeah, so uh, the brother goes in. Sister was like, so she turns to, and I'm not kidding you, she turns to her friend and says, "Bro, bro, you better get him, bro. You better get your boy, bro." And I said, "Bro, she talking to her? She talking to another female like that?" And I was like, "Why is she calling another female bro? Like, what was that about?" I see, man. I'm too old school, man. I thought females talk to, female was female and the male was male. But I guess nowadays, man, man, this everybody is everything, man. You can come. A woman could be like, "Yo, bro, I'm just, whatever." I don't know. Let me I could take that back. This is in the bizarro land called the black community, where up is down, down is up, in is out, out is in, and male is female, female is male. I mean, just everything is inside out and upside down in the black community. It's like the bizarro land. You know what I mean? So that being said,